So, the Sonic movie got delayed. Great, right? Wrong. Look, I get why people didn't like the design. I mean, I don't even like it. Just look at it, it's pretty ugly, but, you know, the animators being pushed to alter the design won't really fix much, right? I mean, sure, Sonic might come up later looking fine, but the movie's not gonna be good just because Sonic looks good. I mean, we saw the trailer, his design was nowhere near the only issue. My big issue here is that it sets a dangerous precedent for movies going forward. While it's great that the team realized a November release would now be impossible, what happens if and when this happens next? I can guarantee you, not every film studio will be kind enough to delay their films to be fair to animators. Not to mention that this means more studios might consider getting lazier on design work because, hey, if a bunch of people complain, we can always change it to their desire. Hell, part of me wouldn't be surprised if some studio even makes a contest out of this kind of thing. Don't like their work? Fine, you draw it, and the winner sees their design in the film. It's not only abusive, it just further turns art into product. Realistically, the audience never knows what it wants most of the time. If we changed every movie based on a trailer we didn't like, chances are we'd be erasing surprisingly good work. We'd be losing out to art based on assumptions. It's not a scenario I want, where the audience just demands what it wants. I'm not saying we shouldn't desire art made for us, just that maybe we shouldn't have a level of control where art is always changed to fit our desires. Sometimes we're afraid of new, sometimes we need art to just be as it is. Art catering to our taste isn't guaranteed to be good. Sometimes we end up liking things that are awful on paper, but work well once you see it. I mean, at first, a lot of people seem to dislike a lot of the live-action Pokemon designs, yet now, it seems most fans love what was done. So who's to say that couldn't happen with Sonic? I mean, sure, it's a bigger hill to climb on, but come on. I mean, you always hear about how a movie should be made by artists and not a committee. How is this not that? Not all things will be good, but that doesn't mean we should be allowed to dictate what gets made after a poor trailer. Consider this. Will studios now be encouraged to do this even after a movie is officially released? I hope not. The Sonic movie is likely a mistake waiting to happen. As a longtime fan of the character, okay, look, I like at least 3 of the cartoons and some of the games. I'm definitely a fan, not hardcore, but whatever. I am definitely bothered by the ugly design, but I just feel they should have just stuck to their guns and gone with it. Sure, the design is probably going to look better and more pleasing, but now you're going to have that possibly good design in a movie that's probably bad anyways, instead of a laughably bad design complementing a bunch of bad ideas, which feels disappointing. I mean, realistically, why would you want the really good design in a movie that's bad? It's going to be even more disappointing when you see this really good Sonic design that looks like the kind of thing that we would want to see in a good movie getting wasted in a movie like this. And the worst part is, this might be the new normal. Alright, considering that this video is going to be a bit on the short side just looking at it, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's a lot longer, I figured, hey, why not? Let me add in this unscripted portion where I talk about my enjoyment of Sonic. So, yeah, expect little mistakes like that where I'm kind of stuttering or at a loss for words. So, yeah, I'm a fan of Sonic. I mean, I know a lot of people are, kind of bad in the fandom. I mean, obviously, this is one of those things where it's like, it's been notorious as one of the worst fandoms around. And to be fair, I get why. I mean, I'm not exactly a part of the Sonic fandom, at least to that degree. I'm not really big on the whole Sonic personas or whatever they call it. I do get there's just a lot of issues with this franchise, and on the whole, I am on the side of like, well, he's seen better days. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't like who Sonic was. Like I said, I do like the 3 games. I mean, the three of the cartoons. Sorry, I know I'm already messing up, but yeah, like I liked the original Sonic cartoon, the one that was kind of wacky and what Sonic says. I know a lot of people tend to dislike that one, but I don't know. I thought it was a cute kind of homage to the Looney Tunes. I really loved it as a kid. That's actually my introduction to the character, and seeing it as an adult, I mean, I'm like, yeah, it's not that great, but it's still fine for what it is. Sonic Sat AM, the other one, the more serious one, the one that everyone loves, really. I also like that one too. With that one, it's kind of funny because there's a bit of an opposite reaction to that than Sonic, the first Sonic cartoon, the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Whereas Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog is one that a lot of people tend to hate, and I'm like, oh, it's fine. Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic Side AM, is the one that a lot of people love, and it's like, oh, this is perfect. This is like the best thing Sonic's ever been in. And to be fair, I can't disagree too much, given that I do think it's really great. However, I do think the love on it is a bit much. Like, people often consider it to be like the most perfect thing ever, and I'm like, no, there's some stuff that just doesn't work too well on that one either. I can't say I'm the biggest fan of having the rings in the property. I mean, I get why people put in the rings. I mean, you want to put in as much as possible from the games, but to me, I've never been the biggest fan of having the rings actually be an item in story in a story for Sonic. But yeah, it still works fine. It's still really good. I mean, it's the one that I would do if I were handed a movie of this. I would try to base it off of that, not exactly continuing on from it, because I'm like, that ship has sailed, and you know what? Anything I do to try to continue it is probably just going to feel like fan fiction. So I would rather just take notes from that without necessarily being that, Well, the third Sonic cartoon that I like is Sonic Boom, which I know a lot of people were kind of annoyed with at first or bothered with. I know the designs aren't that good, but you know what? It's fine for what they are. And it's kind of funny. It's a very meta Sonic show. It reminds me a bit of like Teen Titans Go, where a lot of the jokes are just references to the franchise, and if you know it, you'll love it. There are issues with it, though. I do think that it's never quite as smart as it is when it's outside the Sonic references. I know there was a clip that was going around for a while where they were like, oh, Knuckles is very feminist in the show, and I saw that clip. At first I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of cute, but then the more times I saw it bombarded, the more I actually started paying attention to what was going on in the clip, and I feel like, no, this it doesn't feel that feminist. This is basically about as feminist as a 90s bro feminist would probably be, if I'm being completely honest. Like, I admire what it's trying to say, but it doesn't come out right. So those are 3 Sonic stuff that I like in shows. With games, like I said, that's a bit more varied, because there's some games that I like, some games that I don't. I know I do like a lot of the earlier games, like the main ones, not the spin-offs, like Sonic the Hedgehog 2, 3, and Knuckles are great. I've never played much of Sonic CD, but from what I have played, it is fun. Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 have their problems, but they're mostly enjoyable, fun rides. Sonic Heroes is one that I think is very underrated, because a lot of people seem to hate it. And outside of it being repetitive, I actually really love that one and would love to see that mechanic come back. Maybe try to change it up a bit. Acknowledging like, hey, each character can have their own thing. Each team can have their own thing. But that was one I really liked. From there, you gotta skip ahead to Sonic Generations. I know a lot of people seem to love Sonic Colors, but I never got around to playing that one. And I would love to play it someday, so hopefully it gets re-released on the Switch or something like that. But Sonic Generations was one I really loved. Beyond that, though, I mean, it's mostly been just like the 2D platformers that they've made over the years. Like, I thought the Game Boy ones were pretty fun, even though I never really finished them. I loved Sonic Mania. Sonic Mania is probably the best one of the bunch. Like, it really is deserving of the praise. And yeah, so I mean, that's my thing with the Sonic franchise. I remember reading the comics too, so not the perfect thing, not the best thing, but I remember it being okay. Beyond that, I can't say I'm, that dedicated. I mean, a lot of those games that suck, I know they suck. I think some of them do get a little bit more of a bad rep than they deserve, but even those, I'm like, yeah, they're still not good. Like, Sonic Lost World is still not a good game. I appreciate what it tried to do, but it's not good. Yeah, that's really about it. So, yeah, I'm a Sonic fan. Can't say I'm like the most dedicated hardcore fan. I could definitely see where the issues lie, and yeah, I do find the fandom a bit creepy at times, especially regarding the whole DeviantArt thing. But I'm not gonna go into that now.